Welcome back to a Book a Day podcast. I am back with another book, and this one is something that is going to take you close to nature. The book is called A Book of Simple Living, written by Ruskin Bond. And I don't think there is any writer in India currently, or for the last many decades, who's written as intimately about nature, as beautifully about nature as he has. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a few parts from the book, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So, now, without any delay, let me start narrating a few passages from the first part of the book called A Book of Simple Living. Here we go. A small ginger cat arrives on my terrace every afternoon to curl up in the sun and slumber peacefully for a couple of hours. When he awakes, he gets on his feet with minimum effort, arches his back, and walks away as he had come. The same spot every day, the same posture, the same pace. There may be better spots, sunnier, quieter, frequented by birds that can be hunted when the cat is rested and restored. But there is no guarantee, and the search will be never ending. And there may rarely be time to sleep after all that searching and finding. It occurs to me that perhaps the cat is a monk. By this I do not mean anything austere. I doubt anyone in single-minded pursuit of enlightenment ever finds it. A good monk would be a mild sort of fellow, a bit of a sensualist, capable of compassion for the world, but also for himself. He would know that it is all right not to climb every mountain. A good monk would know that contentment is easier to attain than happiness, and that it is enough. And what of happiness then? Happiness is a mysterious thing to be found somewhere between too little and too much. But it is as elusive as a butterfly, and we must never pursue it. If we stay very still, it may come and settle on our hand, but only briefly. We must savor those moments, for they will not come our way very often. A cherry tree, bowed down by the night's rain, suddenly rights itself, flinging pellets of water in my face. This too is happiness. Mist fills the Himalayan valleys and monsoon rain sweeps across the hills. Sometimes during the day, a bird visits me, a deep purple whistling thrush, hopping about on long dainty legs, peering to right and left, too nervous to sing. She perches on the windowsill and looks out with me at the rain. She does not permit any familiarity, but if I sit quietly in my chair, she will sit quietly on her windowsill, glancing quickly at me now and then, just to make sure that I am keeping my distance. When the rain stops, she glides away, and it is only then, confident in her freedom, that she bursts into full-throated song, her broken but haunting melody echoing down the ravine. A squirrel comes too, when his home in the oak tree gets waterlogged. Apparently, he is a bachelor. Anyway, he lives alone. He knows me well, this squirrel, and is bold enough to climb onto the dining table looking for tidbits which he always finds, because I leave them there. Had I met him when he was a youngster, he would have learned to eat from my hand. But I have only been in this house a few months. I like it this way. I'm not looking for pets. It is enough that he seeks me out when he wants company. A cold, cold January. There is a blizzard. The storm rages for 2 days, howling winds, hail, sleet, snow. The power goes out. There's coal to burn, but it is hardly enough. Worst weather that I can recall in this hill station. sick of it. Why do I stay here? In March, there is gentle weather at last. Peach, plum, and apricot trees in blossom, birds making a racket in the branches. So, this is why I stay. As I walked home last night, I saw a lone folks dancing in the cold moonlight. I stood and watched, then took the low road knowing the night was his by right. Sometimes, when words ring true, I'm like a lone fox dancing in the morning dew. The leaves are a fresh pale green in the spring rain. I can look at the trees from my window, look down on them almost because the window is on the first floor of the cottage and the hillside runs at a sharp angle into the ravine. I do nearly all my writing at this window seat. Whenever I look up, the trees remind me that they are there. They are my best critics. As long as I am aware of their presence, I may avoid the thoughtless and the trivial. In the days when I walked a lot, I went among the trees on my hillside often, acknowledging their presence with a touch of my hand against their trunks. The walnuts smooth and polished, the pines patterned and whorled, the oaks rough and gnarled, full of experience. The oak had been there the longest, and the wind had bent its upper branches and twisted a few, so that it looked shaggy and undistinguished. It was a good tree for the privacy of birds, its crooked branches spreading out with no particular effect. And sometimes the tree seemed uninhabited until there was a whirring sound, as of a helicopter approaching, and a party of long-tailed blue magpies shot out of the leaves and streamed across the forest glade. After the monsoon, when the dark red berries had ripened on the hawthorn, this pretty tree was visited by green pigeons, the kokla birds of Garhwal, who clambered up upside down among the fruit-laden twigs. And during winter, a white-caped redstart perched on the bare branches of the wild pear tree and whistled cheerfully. He had come to winter in the garden. The pines grew on the next hill, but there was a small blue one, a Himalayan cheed, a little way below my cottage, and sometimes I sat beneath it to listen to the wind playing softly in its branches. Opening the window at night, I usually had something else to listen to, the mellow whistle of the pygmy owlet, or the cry of a barking deer which had scented the proximity of a panther. Some sounds I could not recognize at the time. They were strange night sounds that I know now as the sounds of the great trees themselves, scratching their limbs in the dark, shifting a little, flexing their fingers. Sometimes there would be a strange silence, and I would see the moon climbing up and two distant deodars in perfect silhouette. In bed with fever. Beside my bed is a window, and I like looking out at all that is happening around me. It distracts me from the aches and pains. The cherry leaves are turning a dark green. On the maple tree, winged seeds spin round and round. There is fruit on the wild blackberry bushes. Two myna birds are building a nest in a hole in the wall above the window. They are very noisy about it, quarreling like good married couple. Bits of grass keep falling on the windowsill. High up the spruce tree, a hawk cuckoo calls. I slept so well, I slept so well. A small squirrel climbs on the windowsill. He's been coming every day since I have been ill, and I give him crumbs from my plate. A boy on a mule passes by on the rough mountain track. He sees my face at the window and waves at me. I wave back to him. When I am better, I'll ask him to let me ride his mule. Winter is here again. When it gets dark, I take my place by the large stove in the little dining room. Rakesh sits with me. His wife Beena is making comforting music in the kitchen, frying and stirring masalas in the kadai. Their children, Siddharth, Shrishti, and Gautam, are making a racket in the room above us. The little cat has curled itself into a ball next to my chair. This is my family, and it began with friendship, with Prem Singh, Rakesh's father, who came to work for me in the 1960s. I was used to living alone by then, having done so since my teens. But it was very quiet in the cottage. The ghosts of a long dead residents were sympathetic and unobtrusive, and they kept to themselves. The song of the whistling thrush was beautiful, but I knew he was not singing for me. Up the valley came the sound of a flute sometimes, but I never saw the flute player. It wasn't service that I needed, but companionship. Prem and then his wife and firstborn little Rakesh gave me that. They brought much love and laughter into my life. What more could a lonely man ask for? It has been a long companionship, but it is the small things I remember. They come to me like pieces of cinema, colored slides slipping across the screen of memory. From the pine knoll across the valley, I see my cottage, Maplewood, washed by sunlight. Prem is in the garden, putting the mattresses out in the sun. From here, he is just a speck on the far hill, but I know it is Prem by the way he moves slowly about the garden, pausing once in a while to look at the sky. Prem, rocking his infant son to sleep, crooning to him, passing his large hand gently over the child's curly head. Prem following me down to the police station where I was arrested, and waiting outside until I reappeared. Prem scolding Susie, the cat, for the mess it had made. Prem's large, irrepressible laughter, most in evidence when he was seeing an old Laurel and Hardy movie. Most of my life I have given of myself, and in return I have received love in abundance. Life hasn't been a bed of roses, and yet quite often I've had roses out of season. We must love someone. We must keep loving all our days. Someone, anyone, anywhere, outside ourselves. For even the sorest crane will grieve over its lost companion, and the seal its mate. Somewhere in life there must be someone to take your hand and share the torrid day. Without the touch of love, there is no life, and we must fade away. So those were a few passages from the book. I hope you enjoyed them, and I'm going to continue narrating in the next couple of episodes where I will share more passages from the book. And once again, I hope that you're enjoying this journey of listening to these wonderful chapters from the book called A Book of Simple Living by Ruskin Bond. Thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode with the same book, and I'll narrate a few more passages. Thank you so much.